This podcast may contain adult themes and triggering topics. Please be kind to yourself if you get triggered by what we discuss.
Also, this isn't a substitute for therapy or counseling. Please listen to the appendix at the end for some of our recommendations for resources that will help you find a qualified mental health care provider.
Now, we take you to a time in the near future where emotional abuse has been appropriately deemed a crime, and the survivors find a home to reclaim their lives and freedom. This is Haven, and these are the stories of the Reclaimers.
So, you mentioned that Pheeny and your abuser have some kind of deep connection?
Yes. You're referring, of course, to the place in my abuser's head. The place she pretended I couldn't access.
She doesn't know that you could access it?
That's not what's important here.
What is?
That you can access it in Pheeny's head.
Why would... Oh.
You seem concerned, troubled.
I just want to know what this has to do with one last piece.
One last piece? Ah, yes. Sounds like you've been listening to the recordings in my vault. Well done getting access. The one last piece is what I was trying to get her to tell me about your father. We talked about it a lot.
You really pushed her to get it.
She often held back things from me. Part of her overall plan to gaslight and manipulate me. You feel guilty, don't you?
I was granted access to your vault, but I...
You take what you want. You have a mission, and you need to take what you want. If you need access to something and it isn't granted, you need to go take it. You're protecting how many victims here?
Hopefully, many.
Right. Right. Showing the world who my abuser really is will protect many victims from falling for her charm.
What about Pheeny?
He's the worst kind of flying monkey. Let him go down with her. What is it?
I don't sense deception in him.
Did you bring the recordings of your sessions?
I did.
Let's pick one at random. Which one should we listen to first?
This one?
Reid, I'm getting that bundle. Do you want to share what it's about?
It's just that you're so kind in session, and then I leave, and...
What is it?
I'm struggling.
And playback. There. You see?
No.
The deception?
I don't see that.
During the inquiry, Truman and Sonia both admitted that advocates hide their emotions. Pheeny was hiding from you, deceiving you. What's more?
There's more?
Well, you missed an opportunity here.
What opportunity?
My boy, the chance to love bomb him.
Isn't love bomb isn't it part of manipulation?
Contra manipulation. Whatever it takes, right? Right?
Yes. I'm committed to that. Yes.
Then what is it?
The way the onboarding materials talked about manipulation, I worry that it wouldn't be a good route to take.
Do you want to get in his head or not?
I do.
And do you want to get the one last piece or not?
I do. No. I need to. I need to get that information.
Right. People are counting on you.
Right.
It can be difficult to hold a boundary with a flying monkey and his consort abuser.
I guess you would know. You somehow kept them both in line at Harvard.
I did everything in my power to ensure the department knew who they were.
I just read that part in your P11 report.
Ah, yes. A project that is still near and dear to my heart.
Mine too.
Good. All right, quit broadcasting that. I got it the first time. You're worried about how to love bomb now.
Yes.
My boy, love bomb doesn't have to happen in the beginning. You can idealize someone anytime.
Yes, but how?
Let's go back to the recording. Begin playback. Continuing.
I'm getting the pain, Reid. And the struggle with that pain, I'm getting how difficult that is to even approach. What if we look for an empowering tool? Which one do you think could help you with your struggle?
I'm not sure that would help.
I get that. Would you like to share more about your struggle?
See?
I think you already know I don't.
Good. That's why I'm the teacher.
Of course.
When he offered to use an empowering tool, you didn't praise the tools.
Praising the tools?
Praise, compliments, excessive flattery. The trick is to overwhelm your target with admiration and flattery. I respect you so much, Pheeny, and I don't know how I would have lived without these tools. You truly saved me. It helps if you broadcast an overwhelming feeling of inequality, like you could never approach his level of incredibleness. Make it clear that you feel like a supplicant at the altar of his greatness.
That works?
You'll be uncomfortable with it. At first. And then, over time, you'll start to see his comfort with it even out. You need to be sure that you really lay it on, though. Say things repeatedly to really condition them to the same phrases.
How do I know which phrases to say?
The ones that make him blush. The ones that make him smile, that goofy little smile that lets you know that you've gotten to him. I happen to know Phoenix has a soft spot for those tools because he developed them for her.
Oh, right. I read that in the article from the Washington Post. He and your abuser worked on the tools together after they left Harvard.
Right. So use that. Make sure you're using all the things you've read about him, as well as what he says in session. You have to respond to him over time and test out what works. Then you have to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat the flattery, over and over and over and over. Then, when you've repeated it so much that it becomes commonplace, you can begin to layer in the thinnest gossamer layers of resentment. That will make it seem like you were only saying it to please him. And with an empath like Pheeny, he'll blame himself, feeling like he caused you to feel like you had to please him. Get it?
I think I see. Pheeny just... He seems like a good person.
His goodness doesn't matter in the light of his actions. He deceived you. Deceived the world. And he continues to serve her. To protect her. Try to keep her true nature from the world.
What if she's deceiving him too?
She absolutely is. But that's no excuse. He claims to be an expert in sociopathy and antisocial predators. Then he needs to see what's right in front of him.
What if this helps him? What if the contra-manipulation helps him see who it is, who she is?
All the better. You've saved another of her victims.
All right. I can do that.
You're using your gift, as we discussed?
Oh, that.
Yes, that. It's working?
Of course it's working. I can make sure he's protected, just like all the others.
Good. Proud of you, my boy. Keep up the good work. Now go to it. We've got victims to save.
Hello, Ben.
Hey, Persy.
You made it to the Haven.
Topher made sure.
Good man right there.
Yeah, he is. Kari said that you seem to be doing well.
I'm glad she's seeing that. I want her to focus on her healing, so to not worry about me.
Me too.
How are you?
Are you going to Advil me after all?
Security Council definitively said I can't do that. We have the same abuser. It would be a conflict. But you're all VIP still, so of course we're going to give you the best of the best.
Well, if you were going to do that, you would have given me Pheeny.
Perhaps.
You really think Jeanette's a better Advo than him?
Pheeny is the best Advo ever. For me. Not every Advo is right for every survivor.
I'm getting the concern. What's it about?
Huh.
You don't have to answer.
No, I'm just still not sure about you being an empath. It's weird to know you're reading me.
Says the telepath.
Good one.
Didn't even try there, Colossi.
You seem...
Sad? Mm-hmm. I am sad. Subdued, grieving, everything feels sad. Is that okay to say to a non-Advo?
Yes. I like to think that we could be friends, Ben.
Why? Why do you want to be friends with me?
I guess it's because I think we could help each other. He likely told you things about me.
I've since learned that the majority of words out of that dickhead's mouth were lies.
Dickhead, huh?
You don't approve? The all-forgiving, gloriously perfect Golden Girl Persy doesn't approve of my name-calling?
As a matter of fact, my name of choice for him is Nozzle.
Nozzle? Nozzle.
Yeah. You remember Wesley?
From the inquiry, yeah. Prosecuted Nozzle's trial.
Yes. She has a whole dictionary of old-timey slang that we use during the inquiry.
What did you call me during the inquiry?
I called you Ben. I meant what I said that day with Alcorn and Sonia. I forgave you when I found out what that nozzle was to you.
How? How is that even possible? No. You know what? I don't want to know. I don't really care to know. Okay. Here's what I want to know. Shit. You know what? I was so livid with you that day. I was angrier than I have ever been. And how dare you charge in and have all the answers and know how to fix everything when all I could do was stand there weakened by this dickhead. He almost cost Kari her life. And there you were, the one person I'd been blaming for years. Years! You were just there, making everything right and doling out calm waves like it was nothing. Like he hadn't tortured you and exploited your gift and now you're here, trying to be friends? Advocating for Kari? I mean, building networks of places for people to recover? How is anybody supposed to heal when they're up against that, huh? How am I supposed to do anything of value ever again? I will always be known as the guy who fell in love with that nozzle.
No. You won't.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do. I've had some experience with smear campaigns, and Ben, You need to know it ends. The pain, the reputation crap, the news cycle, the heightened indicted status. It ends. You reclaim you. You dig yourself out of the shithole they buried you in and you move. You move on and you move forward. I've seen it in so many cases. I've lived it, Ben. What was all that bluster on Meg's show about the number of survivors? You've got the data. You know people come here and stay for a while, and then they move on. This doesn't become their whole life.
But it became yours. What if I want to help people like you did? But I don't want to be an advo. I just don't want to be that jerk that put the great Dr. Persephone Colossi through a stupid inquiry.
Laying aside the hyperbolic flattery, Ben, the truth is, you did that. You're the one that started the inquiry.
I know. I just spent 3 months in rehab diving into all the reasons why I thought it was okay at the time.
It's okay to own what you did. Huh. Says the murderer. It's okay to want to be seen in a different light.
Maybe that's it. Maybe I don't know what I want. I don't even know who I am after... I am far enough out of Dickhead's manipulation that I know he was a lying, liar, nozzle, dickhead, piece of... I don't know what or who I actually am. I've spent time in rehab now. Rehab! That's for toxic people who do toxic things.
Look at me, Ben. The only people who leave rehab are the good people who got caught up in toxicity. You didn't originate the toxic, Ben.
Still. Victim mindset, right? I've got some kind of victim mindset here?
I hate that term.
Wow. Well, that was a huge emotional shift. You really do hate that term. Why?
If one is victimized, one has to work through their victimhood in order to heal. It's such toxic horseshit to require victims to heal before they've even been allowed to look at the things that happened to them. Besides, only predator nozzles play the victim. Those who've been victimized, we can't help but seek healing, and we do. Victim mindset is a term made up by predators to keep victims quiet about the fallout from the victimization. And even then, I don't hear a bad mindset in what you're saying. I hear someone who's trying to heal.
Maybe.
Can I tell you a story?
Is this an Advo thing?
No, this is a fellow survivor of the nozzle story.
Dickhead nozzle.
Ah. Yes, so it shall be.
All right. Yeah. You can tell me a story.
The first part of grad school, I got the P11 report from Dickhead Nozzle. I know you know about that.
I do. Is this a story about how awful I was to publicize that on Meg's show? Because I never said your name or let people know it was you. That felt wrong somehow.
No, it's a story about Pheeny.
Oh, good. Because I don't know how to make any of that up to you.
Let's just focus on the story. After I got the P11 report, I was kind of where you are right now. Pheeny read me, and even though I didn't tell him about the P11 thing, he was worried. After some serious discussion...
Advoing discussion?
Yeah. He did the Advo thing, and I just tried really hard to keep hold of myself.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. Out of the blue, Pheeny just sits forward in his chair and says, "Persy, you're the bossiest person I've ever met."
Whoa!
Yeah, shocked the hell out of me. The P11 report was actively accusing me of being manipulative, and I associated bossy with manipulative, so I worried perhaps Pheeny was reading something beyond what I was willing to share at that point. But he wasn't. He explained that one of the things he loved most about me was my ability to take charge, run things, be boss.
Be boss. Forgive me, I've never known you to be anything but boss.
Hell yeah. I love to lead, and I love to hold space for the people I lead. Hold them in safety. Let them know I'm going to take care of them.
So I guess it worked?
Well, not at first. At first, he was... Well, it triggered me. Pissed me off. But then Pheeny explained it had to be humorous. Teasing.
Why is that?
He thought that if he could get me laughing about being bossy, we could create a little mental haven of humor, if you will. Recondition my brain to think of bossy as a given aspect of my identity. I could practice it with Pheeny a bit at a time in the safety of our connection.
Mental haven of humor.
He still teases me about being boss, running things. Anytime he starts to feel me slipping into self-doubt or anxiety, he'll just pull out some joke about how bossy I am or how good I am at leading.
That's genius.
Yeah. It's a personalized tool we co-created.
Are you wanting me to co-create something with someone?
Ben, you're a really good person.
You believe that?
Dawn said that prior to your time with Dickhead, you did more pro bono in a month than any other lawyer in D.C. did in a year.
Oh, that.
Kari admires you.
Aiming to make me cry, Colossi? Because that's not cool.
No, but I am aiming to tease you about being a good person.
Okay, well, you could tease me about being Superman.
Superman? Like the old comics?
Yeah! Kari and I, we have this thing about Superman.
Ben, you're the superest Superman I've ever met.
Huh. Yeah, I don't believe a word of that.
That's the best part. This is the mantra tool wrapped in the fantasy tool. You get to hear it without having to believe it. And I'm going to keep teasing you about it.
Can you even do that? I thought advos were supposed to be all consenty and stuff.
Still not your advo, Benedict.
Ha! Well, what if I say no?
Then I won't do it. Unless you meant it about wanting to make things up to me.
Wait, this is how I can make everything up to you, letting you tease me about being Superman?
Yep. Final offer.
All right. All right, Colossi, it's a deal.
Good. You want to go see what Gershie's up to?
Always. He needs to spend more time with his Uncle Ben.
Agreed. The play yard's right over here. You've probably got to get going. I know you were hoping to be on that transport already.
Nah, I've got all day. Mind if we go back to Luis?
Oh, right. We never finished his report.
And it's not really the initial report that matters to me. It's his progress. I'm concerned about his refusal to play soccer.
Are you thinking he might be helpful somewhere to the coalition?
You know, that's the second time you've asked me something like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Pheeny, you are welcome to ask me anything at any time. Now, you sit on that coalition, too. This is just as much your operation as it is mine.
I guess I'm just not used to working alongside that level of transparency when it comes to special forces.
Oh, I can see that. It was why I got you involved in this whole thing to begin with. I was tired of secrets and lies. Now, I'm interested in Luis because he's a little boy with a powerful father, and that father is an abuser that caused Luis untold harm.
Well, sadly, I didn't get to be his advo, but I've been reading the reports from Jeanette's team. What are you seeing?
He was neglected, and not just accidentally either. His abuser made it a point to sit in the room with him and ignore him.
That's terrible.
It is, especially for a kid who is that empathetic. No, not a heightened gift. Luis has a talent for understanding the emotions of those around him.
Most children of neglect are.
That's true. Pheeny, I don't take it lightly that you have special interest in this case. I do too. Luis is compelling. Reporting one's own father, that takes guts. And reporting one's own father when there are that many gauntlets of danger from the political space, that takes a level of intelligence most kids his age don't possess.
He is pretty remarkable.
It's not his remarkability that interests me, though. Not at all. No, that little boy has something that gets me fighting faster than anything.
What is that?
Vulnerability. He's too young to protect himself. And if I'm going to take on operations where I remove young kids from their parents, I have a duty to those kids, to care for them after, adopt their emotional welfare, if you will, if they'll let me.
Topher, I owe you an apology.
How's that?
Well, we've worked together for a year, and I'm just now understanding what a giant heart you have. I thought your motives surrounding Luis were more political than anything else.
It's clear that Percy's abuser had a far-reaching effect on you both.
I hadn't thought of that.
I don't like to admit it, but I know there is some dealing and glad-handing still happening in Washington. We like to think that we've evolved, but I know there are still agendas, even on the coalition. And I'm getting from both of you, you tend towards doubting other people's intentions as a starting point. And it's not entirely about your career in politics, is it?
I don't think I've ever given much thought about that filter I have, if filter is even the right word. I hadn't realized how often I suspect people who want to help, that I believe them to have an agenda. It's not you personally, Topher. I hope you know that.
You are so kind and thoughtful, Pheeny. You having this level of protective doubt, that's not unkind. You're protecting Luis by doubting my intentions.
See? Giant heart. That's generous of you to ascribe good intentions to my doubt.
Well, it's true. Now, what do you teach survivors about doubt?
Well, it depends on what they're doubting.
Doubting someone in the beginning stages of a developing friendship?
Well, that's healthy.
As it should be.
Yet, I'm sensing both of you feel like it's somehow wrong to doubt me, to doubt why I'm here.
Like he said, we've worked together for a year. We've had time to know you.
And we've seen the positive impact of your work.
All the more reason you should doubt. Antisocial predators take their time. A year, 10 years, doesn't matter.
Yes, I've seen the way you handle boundaries, though. That's the big tell. Predators can't handle boundaries. You can.
Ah, yes. Dr. Persephone Colossi, did you just admit that your doubt has nothing to do with me and my actions?
Perhaps.
Is it the same for you, Dr. Phoenix?
Sure, I guess so.
I need to admit something.
Uh-oh.
I do have an agenda with both of you, and I'd like to share it with you.
Sure.
It's in 3 parts. Part 1, I have wanted you both on the coalition since Alcorn first called you the Get It Done team. She said if we had a problem, we only needed to pose it to Percy, and the 2 of you would handle it. Now, we're standing in a building that is pure evidence of all you 2 can accomplish. The coalition needed you.
Well, Topher, that part of your agenda isn't as secret as you think it is.
Well, perhaps. Part 2. And this one's tough to talk about.
Go at your pace. We can hear it.
Well, I'm not ready to share everything, but when the inquiry revealed that Persy was a telepath, I was drawn to that because I have a soft spot in my heart for people who struggle with that gift.
Struggle. Interesting choice of words.
Well, it is a struggle, Perse. It's okay to admit it.
I don't have to admit it so long as you 2 are saying it for me.
I'm not intending to take something from you here, Persy. And I need to clear that trigger I'm getting from you. Your telepathy wasn't the reason I asked you to be on the coalition. Your expertise and experience, sideline benefits. No, I wanted you on the coalition because of who you are. When you revealed your telepathy, well, your courage gave me the courage to reach out.
There's something else there, too.
There is. I have 2 sons, twin boys. They're telepaths.
Oh, Topher. I have no idea what happened, but whatever's causing that intense pain, I wish I could help somehow.
Me too. Do you want to talk about that?
Not right now. Not the right time. But let's just say you 2 remind me of my boys. You're stalwart and brilliant, and you fight with each other like they did when they lived at home. Just being around you two is a comfort I'm unable to adequately articulate.
Oh, Topher. We're here for you. You can hang out while we argue anytime.
Do you want to take a break? Grab some dinner or something?
No. The third part is the most important thing for you to know.
All right, then. Go for it.
I feel responsible.
For what?
For your abuser. I'm the one that put him in the position of power. I didn't see the flag soon enough, and by the time I did, he was already parasitically involved with almost every operation on the coalition, including Haven Oversight.
He was an abuser long before you got there.
The inquiry, though. Without his involvement on the coalition, he wouldn't have had access to the information that made it possible for him to go after you like that.
Still, it's not your fault.
Perhaps. But in a way, his inquiry, his getting arrested, all of it, left you both vulnerable, and I thought maybe I could be of some use to your cause. Adopt your emotional well-being. Put right the wrong, as it were.
Topher.
Wait, Topher. What's that? I'm getting...
It's now that I know you both, know your stories, know a bit about your childhood experiences, maybe this is taking liberties, though.
What is it?
For some reason, learning that both of you have lost your father in one way or another, maybe like the replacement tool, that I could be something useful for you both, you know? Maybe it's something I'll need to think on, but like with Luis, our work took his father from him, and we've worked to give him a replacement father in the form of his support team. And I feel that even though your abuser was just awful, he was still your mentor. And the inquiry and my part in it, that took something else from you, too.
There's discomfort alongside that. What's that about?
Persy, are you okay if I learned something while listening to the recordings, and I don't want to share that knowledge with Pheeny unless you're okay with it.
Learned something? Oh, Pheeny knows about my abuser trying to manipulate the father figure thing. It's okay.
Oh, well, when Percy's abuser tried to manipulate that whole business, it made me uncomfortable. Because I get overly protective about the people we rescue, almost like I want to be their father figure.
But is that the same as Percy's abuser doing that? He had motives that were entirely self-serving.
Maybe mine are too. Maybe that's what this is all about. It's almost like I'm using this work to settle my own trauma about...
Topher, you don't have to tell us any more about your boys for it to be clear that there's some sort of loss.
Yeah, thank you. I don't want to talk about the loss, but the grief and the pain. I respect the work you've done here at the Haven, and using your own grief and pain to build, to reclaim. I have the audacity to propose that I could replace a father figure for you both, and you could replace a bit of the arguing I miss so much from my boys.
Topher.
Does it sound toxic, like I'm using you or something? See, my motives are self-serving too.
Actually, it sounds like one of the best uses of the replacement tool I've ever heard.
Really? Because over the past year, my admiration for you both has just skyrocketed. I love you both so much. I'm just cold darn proud to know you, let alone work with you all the time.
I love you too, Topher. Galdern proud. I feel that for you too.
Yeah, Topher. That love and pride, that really means the world. And I feel the same.
Well, that's just biscuits and gravy right there.
Biscuits and gravy?
Yep. They just go together.
You know what else it is?
What?
Not all agendas are bad. Biscuits and gravy agendas, they're the kind of agendas I want to work with. That's what.
Topher, I accept.
Me too. Now, should we finally talk about the report for Luis?
Oh, yes. And then I want to go to dinner.
Talk first, then dinner. That's a deal. That way, I have time to start a completely pointless argument with Persy before we go.
Hey, it's Persy and Pheeny here. What you've just heard is a work of fiction, but we know that many listeners are living in a world of pain that isn't fictional at all.
At the end of every episode, we're going to include an appendix of sorts. Some things we hope will serve those who live with a reality of fear and pain every day.
First, we want to let you know about our website, www.empowering.tools, where we keep an ongoing list of books, websites, hotlines, and many other resources for victims and survivors of toxic relationships.
Second, we love to hear from you. If you'd like to share your story with us or let us know how the episode impacted you, we'd love for you to reach out. These are deeply emotional things, and we want to give you a chance to share. We're a small team, so an in-depth response isn't always possible, but we do read every message we receive.
Third, if you're in crisis or you need to find an immediate way out, please call 800-799-7233 for the National Domestic Abuse Hotline. If your abuser is a parent or a non-romantic relationship, there are other resources we've listed on the website that are just for you.
A reminder, emotional violence is still violence. You don't need to have bruises on your body to deserve help, and it's okay to feel what you're feeling when you call.
Fourth, be safe. For some, getting out will take planning and time. If you know you need help, do what you need in order to safely get away.
Lastly, we know how difficult it can be to believe there's hope on the other side of a toxic relationship.
Many on our team know the devastatingly difficult steps it takes to get away from an abusive predator.
But there is hope. You don't have to do it alone. If you don't have supportive family or friends, you can still find support at the hotlines we mentioned earlier or at a local hospital or shelter.
Thousands of survivors have made it out. Getting out and reclaiming your freedom can be your story.
We believe in you.
We believe in your future.
And we believe in your right to that freedom.